Hi and welcome back again. It's good to see you. In the first video in this series of 3, I talked about what we think we know about loneliness. And in the second video, I talked about 5 unexpected things we have recently found out about loneliness. If you missed those, you might want to go back and watch them first. There's a link above, about now, to take you to the first video, or else stay here and there'll be a link at the end to watch it there too. So, what can we do about loneliness? Number 1, find distracting activities or dedicate time to work, study or hobbies. Loneliness is often temporary, something we experience when we're going through transitions in life, such as starting university or moving to a new place. So activities that absorb us might help distract you from the painful feelings until time passes and you feel less lonely. If you can find an activity that absorbs your attention so much that you don't even notice the time passing, you can experience what's known as a state of flow, which can improve your well-being. Number 2, join a social club or take up new social activities and pastimes. Now this one definitely sounds like a bit of a cliche, but if the reason for your loneliness is that you don't meet people in your community, then this might be a solution for you. But it's not for everybody. It's not always easy to go and start talking to people in a room when you know no one, which might be why this idea also appeared in the survey's top 5 least helpful suggestions for people who feel lonely. If the idea of chatting to strangers makes you nervous, choose a club where you might be doing something side by side, craft classes for example. Then there's less pressure to talk if you don't want to. The key is to choose something you're really interested in, and then you might find you have lots in common with the other people there. Number 3, change your thinking to make it more positive. In the survey, they tested empathy levels and found that people who say they feel lonely showed higher levels of empathy for other people's social pain. They also measured social skills, and theirs were just as good as everyone else's. So it's not that people who feel lonely need to learn new social skills, but what might help are strategies to cope with the anxiety of situations. It's also worth remembering that loneliness is often temporary and that you won't feel like this forever. Number 4, start a conversation with anyone. It can take some nerve to start chatting to strangers, but you don't have to say anything deep. There's a reason why talking about the weather is so popular. It's changeable, so you can say to someone in a shop or at the bus stop, hot, cold, wet, windy, lovely, isn't it? The idea of this isn't to build a deep friendship, it's to feel more connected to other humans. Every time we have a conversation, even if it seems inconsequential, it reminds us that we all share the same world. Number 5, talk to friends or family about your feelings. Now this solution was suggested more often by people in the survey who don't feel lonely than people who do, which suggests that it might be easier said than done if you've been experiencing loneliness for a long time. Many people do still feel there's a stigma surrounding loneliness, but the good news is that younger people said that they would be less likely to conceal their loneliness than older people. So perhaps over time, it's getting slightly easier to talk about it. You might worry about other people's reactions, but the survey results suggested that in general, people don't think badly of those who are lonely. So if you tell someone about it, you might be surprised at their reaction. Number 6, look for the good in every person you meet. The survey found that people who feel lonely have on average lower levels of trust in others. So this solution is all about deliberately looking for the best in people in order to trust them a little bit more. If you think someone has snubbed you, ask yourself to look really hard at the evidence for whether this is true and then suggest alternative options. Maybe they were busy or tired or perhaps feeling sad or nervous themselves. It was probably nothing to do with you. Number 7, take time to think why you feel lonely. When you talk to people about why they might be lonely, they can put their loneliness down to different causes. Some were physically isolated, others experienced discrimination. Some found it hard to trust people, while others didn't know where to find like-minded people. Working out why you feel lonely is a first step to working out which solution might work for you. And if one solution doesn't work, it's worth trying another. Number 8, carry on and wait for the feeling to pass. We know that loneliness is often temporary, so this will work for some people. For those where it's become chronic and long-lasting, other solutions might be more effective. But it's encouraging that so many people who have felt lonely found that waiting for the feeling to pass did work, because it shows that many feelings of loneliness do disappear over time. Number 9, invite people to do things without fearing rejection. It's good to ask people to do things with you. Everyone wants to think that other people like them, and most people are pleased when they're invited to do something. But try not to feel afraid of them saying no. If they say that they are busy that day, they probably are. Don't assume that they're just avoiding you. Now, not every solution will work for everyone, and if one thing doesn't work, maybe it's best to try something different. But perhaps there are things we can be doing as communities of people living together, as a society where people work, live, play and relax, young, old and everything in between. What can we be doing to put ourselves in each other's way a little bit more, to help us experience connection, especially when we need it most? I'd love to see your suggestions in the comments. What strikes you as something that we might be able to do? What do you think we should be talking about more? And what other solutions do you think might be helpful in more practical day-to-day attempts of reducing loneliness and its effects, or perhaps big structural changes that we might be able to bring about? Thanks for watching this video. You'll see a subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen, so please click that to make sure you don't miss out on any more of my videos, and you'll see a link coming up now to the previous videos in this series where I talk about what we can do about loneliness. Click on the links and it'll take you straight there. Thanks again, and I look forward to talking with you in the comments. Bye now.